This is Talking at You, where opinions are just opinions, feelings will be taken into consideration, and free speech is still a right. I'm a Gen X. Lots of Gen X's out there. Apparently, they're doing all kinds of stuff in TikTok. I'm one of them. But we have such a crazy, similar set of stories. It's like you got the wood spoon. I mean, we all have that story. I don't know. It was like there was some handbook that parents just shared with each other, and that was the tool of, I don't know, teaching. But you got that, you got belts, you got, I mean, what else? There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, anything within reach was a tool of punishment. I've heard stories of, the Hot Wheels toy tracks. I mean, that's cold. I mean, you're hitting your kids with their own toys. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, at what point, do we accept it as just part of growing up or abuse? I don't know. Maybe it's both. But it seems like the people that have experienced this growing up, we just chalk it up to that's the way it was. We earned our lickings. And maybe sometimes, yes. I definitely gave my my tests. My poor mom, she was, married, but raising three boys. Dad was always gone doing whatever. That was a lot. I mean, three boys close together in age, constant fist fights. We were the classic latchkey kids. You leave the house, door's locked. You're not coming home till just before dark. And that was it. I mean, that was it. I mean, you had a key. You got in your house, heading in school. There was nobody there to babysit you. There's nobody, to see if you needed a snack or food or how your day went. It just wasn't the way it was. And that's it. Do you raise your kids that way? You get a lot of people that say, there's kids nowadays. That's everybody over like 40. It's like these kids nowadays, they just don't get it. Blah, blah, blah. We all heard it, walking back and forth to school, uphill both ways, snowstorm, blah, 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 which I did. But yes, when do you say, okay, that's probably not okay? You look at, the generations, you got the Gen X, that's like 65 to, I think, 81. There's some if in there. I think it was mostly an author decided that. Wrote a book back in the day, but anyways, it's like most Gen X's, they know how to do things. Like they know how to survive. Not maybe survival mode in cold Alaska, but they know how to survive hard times. They know how to, if you're not catching up on your bills, they know how to make $1 go to the maximum, even if, you're not paying one thing to pay another thing. There's that. Or if they have to do something to make an extra buck, they'll figure it out. And they do, and not saying it's always legal, but they figure it out. But yeah, and then you got the emotions. We were always told, don't worry about it. Just don't voice your opinion. Just sit down, shut up. No one cares. And yeah, it just turns us into a bunch of bottled up time bombs. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much been our whole life. You just hold it in, bottle it up. You just do what your boss tells you. You just work, work, work. A lot of us are struggling because of that mentality. But a lot of us are succeeding in our own ways. And a lot of times we succeed in a way that confuses people because they look at us and they say, you know, you're struggling, right? You are having a hard time, but we're barbecuing, we're having a good time, we're hanging on the beach. You know, we know how to do things that cost nothing, that live the best life we can live. So that's it. We've learned and adapted to make what we have the best it can possibly be. And that's where the new generation's not that. If one thing changes in their life, it's like a end of the world shit show. It's like they just can't even comprehend. Like when the internet goes down, they lose their goddamn mind. I, it's just like my kids. The internet's down. Oh God. I mean, wow. I mean, it's just. I'm thinking the internet's been down for how long? It's like, it's craziness. I mean, I was at the store the other day. Internet was locally all over the place down, and phones were down. Everything was just like the whole grid just like fell. And you're in the store, and people are like at the cash registers, and it's like the store said you couldn't use your credit cards, and people were losing their shit. It's like, what do we do? How do we do stuff? It's like, how'd you do stuff before? I mean, I don't know. I get it. You don't have whatever, a couple $100 in cash in your pocket. That could be which unexpected. That would suck. But you could still go to the bank and get your money if you really, really had to. Because the banks, even though that stuff goes down, they still have ways to do that. Even if it's like, I don't know, you make it work. And that day, it wasn't even like the whole grid went down. It was just like you couldn't use debit cards, but you could use credit cards, which in most banks, that's still a link to your bank account. People were just losing their damn mind. I don't get it. For me, when the cell phones go down, it's like, finally, I got some freedom. I don't have to be glued to this thing and answer every single text. And it's just where we've got is ridiculous, and that's where the generation gap is because even the older crowd, the boomers, it's like they've become dependent on internet, and that's sad. It really is. And then you got the Z's and the millennials, and it's like they're all the same. It's like they lose their damn mind when they don't have, you know, social media or somewhere to check to see if they're still relevant or cool or anything. It's like, it's nuts. I don't get it. I mean, I'm on social media. I got my TikToks, Facebook, blah blah blah, whatever. But if they go down, it's not. I really don't care. I mean, if the government decided that no, you guys don't get internet anymore, and they shut us down, I mean, we've done it. We know how to do it. And we'd go back to it, no problem. We really would. And there'd be adjustments. I mean, I got a lot of things that I do online, but nothing I can't revert back to. So I don't know. Going back to the whole punishment thing, like, it's just, I don't know. I was raised, you know, with the spankings, the lecture, not so much the lectures. You know, you pretty much got lectured as you were getting spanked. I think it helped parents feel good that they were beating you. I don't know. But do you transfer that to your kids? Now, Gen X, most of them now are in their mid to upper 40s, at least in my group, and then in the 50s. So they've had their kids. Their kids are all in their 20s now, married up, whatever. But I've recently restarted a little bit. So I got a younger one. I got a 7-year-old. Early on in my kids' upbringings, no, I was raised by the spanking, and it didn't last long. I think by the time my kids were like 6 or 7, I just kind of stopped because I just seen it turn into just the ugliness. I mean, it was just, you don't want to be that way. So you learn to do other things. I mean, I'm not a good talker. I am not. So I don't do the Dr. Phil, oh, well, think about your problems and what did you think you did wrong? I don't do that. They know they did wrong. They know damn well what they did wrong. So I'm not going to sugarcoat this and pretend like they're going to learn from anything I say. Because they're going to do it again. I mean, that's just kids. Kids are stupid, and we all know it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe spankings aren't the best answer. They are very, very effective. Short term, they work very well. Long term, I mean, I guess they work well, but they are not the best option because they work in a way that kind of holds them back. Because when you get older, you know, you have that mentality still. Like you don't want to do wrong because you don't want to be punished. But then that's how you get locked into a dead end job forever because you don't want to disappoint your superiors. It's like, and then for what? Why are we doing that? Take your job serious, of course, and do your best at it. But if you're not happy, you're not locked in. That's the thing. But the problem is, we can think that way, but realize we still need a job. Where the new generation, they think that way and they just quit. I mean, yeah, you can't just quit. And for now, they can. Yes, they can for now. But you will need to retire. You will need some kind of income as you get older because you won't be able to do things you do now. So I don't think they think that far ahead. So there's that. But where do we go with raising our youth in our old ways, but adapting to the new stuff? I don't know. We can't. I mean, I don't know. How do you? I don't know. I don't even know how to explain what I'm trying to say here. But how do you go from you just strangled the cat to death? Okay, that's horrible. That's horrible. I mean, and you gotta yeah, I don't even know. You gotta tell this kid it's like, yeah, you're probably a serial killer, and I don't know. That was a bad example. I mean, anyway, it strangles a cat to death is fucked up. So that's not the best explanation. Let's try a different one. Let's try. Say you broke your neighbor's window. There used to be a time where I don't know. It depends on how bad it was. You'd probably get your ass whooped, but you'd also be told you're paying for that window, and you're gonna go work it off, and you're gonna go mow the neighbor's yard and work like community service to do that, and that should still be a thing. But nowadays it's like, well, my kid, whatever, like blah blah blah, he's a good kid, and it's like nothing gets done, kid don't get punished, nobody's feelings get hurt, and that's where it's wrong. I mean, a lot of the time these kids they just get this mode that they just have these rights just given to them, and it's like they don't have to suffer consequence and stuff like that. So it's like when you're worried about getting your ass whipped, you don't do a lot of extreme things. Like these kids, they just don't have that fear. They're not scared of nothing because there's nothing. What's the worst they get now? I mean, you can't even ground them anymore. I mean, you'd have to damn near rent a U-Haul to pack up all the stuff that you want to ground them from. Because you put them in the room, it's like the room is a freaking palace. I mean, there's a reason they don't leave their rooms. So, I mean, your biggest punishment, which is horrible, is to send them outside. That's the new punishment. You're going outside to play. I mean, that was our yay, we didn't get punished. But for them, it's like the worst thing in the world. So I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And then they progress into teenagers. As soon as they hit 13, they want to be 16. As soon as they hit 16, they want to be 18. They want to date 30-year-olds. They want the 30-year-old lifestyle. And then you got to be the parent and say, well, no, you're not going to go date a bunch of fucking pedophiles. And you're not going to act like one. You're not going to hang out with your 18-year-old boyfriend and whatever, do 18-year-old stuff because I mean, what the hell? I mean, you're a minor. But they don't register that stuff. They can't comprehend it. It's like they're stupid. They are completely stupid. Anything 13 to 16 is out of their damn minds. They have no clue. They can't understand it. They can't comprehend why it's a thing, why it's a problem. They just they just don't get it. I mean, some states you can't even be with an 18-year-old when you're 16. I mean, it's anything he does to you is illegal. Basically, parents could prosecute him as statutory rape, and it's on his record forever. So, so there's that. And then when I was 18, we thought about that stuff. We didn't date 16-year-olds because that could happen. I mean, it just could. It still can. So I don't know. I guess if you dating little kids, go move to Tennessee or something. But I mean, and then really, I mean, what is wrong with you? If you're 18, you can't find another 18-year-old girl that likes you. I mean, you're so repulsive, you can't attract somebody your own age. You got to go preying on some way young minor. I don't know, but that's a whole other episode. Ugh. Anyways, so gross. Where was I going here? Oh yeah, different generations, punishments, and what we should do. I don't know. It just seems like what's the right answer? Do you? I mean, 'cause you definitely can't. You can't spank anymore. You can't threaten to hit anymore. You can't do anything. You basically just gotta sit in the sidelines and watch them destroy their lives. Because what are you gonna do? I mean, you get the joy of you be able to sit back and say, "I told you so. I told you this is gonna happen, and here it is happening." But then you got to be like, oh, then you got to bite your tongue because that's insensitive and whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's like all of our experiences, everything we've learned growing up, it's like we just got to keep it to ourselves, I guess. Not relay it to our children and help them move on. I don't know. I mean, I'm talking like the now children. Like my kids are in their 20s. They learned all these lessons. They listen to my stories for the most part. They understand that this stuff is happening is wrong, and they get it. But yeah, I mean, anybody raising younger kids now, it's like it's almost a lost cause. I think it'll eventually come back because this generation right now is going to learn. They're going to learn a lot of things the hard way. I mean, they started showing promise, and then the way they even do politics, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's a popularity contest now. They just vote for what's mainstream and cool, and they don't care, if it's going to take away their rights or what they're going to do I mean, what's happening. It's scary. We're basically going to have to skip the next two generations and hope that the one after that does all right. Maybe it's the Gen X year. I don't know, because we're all coming to age now. We're all getting to where we're going to be in politics. We're going to do more things out in public. Because this is it. All of our parents, the Gen X's parents, are at the age now where they really can't tell us what to do anymore. We finally broke away from that hold. So we're getting out there. We're unleashing all that pent up aggression and those feelings and everything we wanted to do is now it's our world, and now we're doing what we want to do. So things are going to change. So I don't know. Maybe it won't get for the better. Maybe it'd be a scary world. I don't know. Do I want to see internet shut down? I don't even know. I mean, I do like internet. I mean, podcasting obviously. So I mean, it's not like I'm doing ham radio here. But I'm not against the idea of it, of internet just shutting down. Because what really has come out of it other than, dating sites, dick pics, girls jumping up and down on TikTok and whatever. I mean, there's realistically nothing good about it. It's maybe helping people see things they didn't know were going on, but was not knowing was going on really all that bad back in the day, other than what we've seen in the news? It really wasn't. I mean, it was the best life to live is not knowing every single thing. Because here's the worst part. It's like once you know these things and you get pissed off and you just get angry, what do you do with it? If you're not doing nothing, you're not changing the world, you're not running for office, you're not voicing your opinion, you're not doing anything, then what do you even care? Why are you even getting upset? You don't even need to know if there's nothing you can do. I get pissed off. I do things. I say I do this. I do podcasts. And who knows? Maybe 20 people might listen and 5 might actually hear the words I say. Maybe 1 might actually agree with what I say. It doesn't matter because nothing's going to change from this. Nobody cares. It's just not going to matter. Because unless you have billions of dollars, you're a politician, or you can use your money and whatever you have to become that, you're not going to do nothing. Buy all the flags you want. Run all the rallies you want. Do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Because in the end, nobody cares. All this politics is like when the dust settles and everybody starts walking their ways, it's going to go back to normal. Everybody's going to pretend like they didn't say what they said. Everybody's going to pretend they didn't stand where they stand, and then we're going to be right back to normal. So maybe before we go freaking crazy and just jump on the bandwagon of who you like, what's this, what's that, and whatever, maybe just realize there was a day. Think back to the day of when you didn't care about all this. Think about pre-COVID, pre all of that, when it didn't matter. Every 4 years, you just changed it up. That was it. It was simple. Nobody was flying flags constantly year round. Yard signs that never go away. It's just seems so ridiculous. It really does. It's like, just go outside. Have a campfire. Go, I don't know, barbecue. Call the neighbors over. It's like, shit. Does anybody even see their families anymore? Does anybody have family reunions anymore? Just go. Pretend like it's the good old days and just don't give a shit. Alright? I mean, try that. See what happens. I mean, I don't know. I got all kinds of ideas on how to piss away your day. I don't know. That's where I'm at. We're going to call this an easy, short show. Kind of like a little vent cast, I guess. And we'll get into more subjects that are not so this. So, I'll check in later. I'm Rob. And it's been fun talking at you.